All right, all right. What's going on, everybody? DB4 here, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Card Hunter. We are here for yet another glorious special feature. Oh man, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Now, Card Hunter is a very, very special game for me, so I want to break this down for you guys real quick. Quick history lesson. Card Hunter is a very, very old game. It was released back in 2013. It was actually a browser-based game. I played it a ton back in those days. It was real early it was actually a fully released game, but it was real early compared to where we are today with the game. Now, this game did come out on Steam as a free-to-play game back in 2015, and they did get a lot of updates that changed a lot of things about the game, and that's when it's real dope. Now, this game, even though it's old, it still has a very loyal community. You can still look it up and play the game. It has a strong single-player aspect as well as a strong multiplayer aspect. We can get into that later. It also has microtransactions. At the start of this game, I remember it being heavily cosmetic focus with the microtransactions. Is there was some sort of premium system that just allowed you to get extra loot and stuff like that, but now they've released tons of more DLC and more missions to do. That it's also in the form of microtransactions, and they also have a loot box system. But this system is very fair, I would have to say myself, and is a way to earn that type of in-game currency in the game itself by just playing. So it's a very fair system, I would have to say so myself. Now, this game was created by a team called Blue Manchu. Now, this team is a very interesting team of developers. I really like what they did here. I'm just going to read you a quick quote from their Twitter. It says, "Blue Manchu, we make games that mix and match things from different genres." Now, that's a perfect way to explain this game, because as you can see, this game is very, very reminiscent of two other games that you should be familiar with, like Dungeons and Dragons as well as Magic the Gathering. Now, if you look at the team itself, they have a pretty diverse resume. They worked on games like BioShock, System Shock 2, and as well as Magic the Gathering. Now, that's very important because, as you know, Magic the Gathering is a Wizards of the Coast IP, and Dungeons of the Dragons is also a Wizards of the Coast IP. So you can see where they're going with this game. As you can see with the screen we have here, there's dice, there's a heavy Dungeons and Dragons influence here. Now, getting into the game itself, like I said, this game mixes and matches Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering perfectly. Now, look, I'm a fan of both franchises. I love Magic the Gathering. I've been playing it for years, tons of years, and I've been also watching and playing D&D for years. Now, I've did more watching D&D than playing it over the years. I've watched way too many campaigns over the years. I watched Critical Role, Black Dice Society, and yes, I'm even a fan of Celebrity D&D, believe it or not. Now, look, this is one of my all-time favorite games of all time, because not only is it a free game, but when I first started playing this game, I was very much into Magic the Gathering, and I had just started watching Dungeons and Dragons content on the internet and stuff like that. So it was real dope for me to stumble upon this game back in those times. I thought it was real innovative, and it hasn't been many games like it. Now, this game it's currently available now on Steam as we speak, and it has tons of updates throughout the years. For it to be such an old game, the fact that they're still updating this game to this very day is impressive. They just did a major update in May of this year, and for a 9-year-old game, that was impressive because that update basically overhauled a lot of the game and basically changed the game completely. They added a crafting system to the cards and things like that, so that made the game way more accessible. And believe it or not, they just did another update just this September. They do update every month basically, and it was their 9-year anniversary update, so it's a lot of content I haven't even seen yet or haven't even gotten into. Now, with all that out the way, I wanted to just let you guys know a brief history of mine with this game and how dope this game is. I highly suggest you pick this up. Now, I appreciate you all for being here with us today. If you're interested in playing this game, we're going to have some information in the description box as well, as always. Now, salute to all the subscribers. Y'all are the GOATs, and actually salute to the developers for creating such a dope game. Now, with all that being said, let's get down to some gameplay. All right, real quick, before we start things up, I want to mention something real quick. There's a point in the very beginning of the game, soon as we start up, where I will advise you guys to switch your game from full screen mode to actually switching it to windowed mode, and there's a reason for that. But let's continue. Let's get right into it. Welcome D Before Me Gaming. Playing Card Hunter together is going to be awesome. Let's get it. Now this is very much like D&D, as you can see the player's guidebook. Let's go. Let's do Green Things. Let's do Green Things challenge. My older brother Melvin has been telling me how great it is. Alright, let's start up Green Things challenge.
Adventurers.
Alright, and this guy's gonna act as like our DM, or basically our tutorial guide for the beginning parts of this game. We're gonna let him just teach us the game as we go, and we'll explain a lot of stuff later on, a lot more things. Alright, here we go. Your party has survived the undying marshes, following the ancient map to the gold leaf blade. Following the ancient map to the gold leaf blade. Alright. Deep in the undying marshes are hidden three pieces. Deep in the undying marshes are hidden three priceless artifacts: a sword of palest sharpness, a mace blessed by Saint Timrun herself, and a staff infused with demon fire. But brave indeed would be the adventurers who would invade the brooding fins to face the enemy of the lizardmen, the enmity of the lizardmen. For it is rumored that they are protected by the Viridian dragon, Green Thing himself. This is two exciting battles, one battle after another, for levels 18 to 22 heroes. So we're getting right into the thick of things with a pretty experienced party. Let's go. And as you can see, this stuff reads pretty much like D&D with the booklets and stuff and the campaigns. Pretty dope. This is an adventure module. Now approaching the blood-soaked altar of the Lizardman Shrine, they brace for a final assault.
Uh-oh.
Cold-eyed lizardmen pour forth to defend their temple commanded by a skeletal apparition. Alright. Alright, play your cards to defeat your enemies. Continue. Right-click or press spacebar on the cards to see what they do. This card is it's an attack card. Chop. Chooses up to 2 different targets for this attack. It does 5 damage and it has 1 range. Now the first card we're going to play is actually a move card. Let's right click that. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step or 2. This is a walk card. This is basically our movement cards. I'll explain a lot more about this stuff later on in the game, but let's just play a card and follow the tutorial. Borgo walks. Plan a travel, teleport. It's impossible to be in 2 places at once, but with the right magic, you can get very close. That guy teleported to up front. Alright, cool. Now we're gonna cast a fireball spell. Yeah, we can hit like 3 people like this. Oh no, we also hit our guy like that though. Let's cast it here. You know what? We might get a chance to hit everybody, but I'm just gonna take the 3. It does a burst damage of 2. That's like an AoE. Burning 2, duration 1. That means you take 2 damage for 1 turn. So it has a burning effect. 4 damage, 6 range. People will say that they became wizards for all kinds of reasons, but the truth is everybody wants to throw a fireball. Idris detonates a fireball. Sick transits eyebrows. Okay. It actually gives you flavor text as well as flavor text about what's going on, just like in a Dungeons and Dragons game. And they have the flavor text like the Magic cards. If you ever play Magic the Gathering, this is very similar to Magic the Gathering with the flavor text at the bottom of the cards. Pretty dope. Now let's cast our fireball. Now he did a sorcerer's bolt, arcane magic. What sorcery is this? The painful kind. 6 range, 4 damage. He's going to target our...
Whoa!
He's going to target our dwarf. Alright, blocks in your hand defend automatically if you roll high enough. Plus continue. We can block any amount of damage and we draw a card to basically replace itself if we roll 2 or more. We rolled a 4, so that means we block the damage incoming and we draw a card.
Huh.
Alright, if you run out of cards to play, you can pass the turn. After a pass, you can end the round to draw new cards. Alright, now, if I didn't have anything I could do, I could just pass the turn. But since we do have other things we can do, like move and also attack, we're going to do that. First things first, let's move up a bit with this guy. Actually, we're going to move up with our Idris, our elf. Let your rapidity be that the wind Sun Tzu. Be that of the wind. Let your rapidity be that of the wind. Sun Tzu. Alright. This is a dash card for movement points. Let's move up like right here, I guess.
Huh.
Armor in your hand reduces damage automatically if you roll high enough. If we roll a 3 or more, we reduce the damage by 2, and we keep these cards. They're very similar to block cards, but it's an armor card, so you keep armor cards and you discard block cards. We rolled the 6, so we block the damage.
Huh.
There we go. Alright, look at the card. Look at the card I played. Open the battle log at the top left and click the card's hyperlinked name. If you open the battle log, because this is the regular chat, this is the world chat, this is the battle log, we can see what happened. Because things happen kind of fast in this game, so sometimes we want to check the battle log and see exactly what they played. As you can see, Zoo 10th played Zap, and we used Hardy Mail, and we blocked the damage. We took 2 arcane damage. There you go. Nice and neat, lets you know what happened in the order of events. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to now cast this spell. We're going to target these 3 people. Now choose up to 3 different targets for this attack. Each target must be within 3 squares of another, and it's hard to block one. Meaning, after they roll, they block. If they have, let's say you have to roll a minimum of 3 for this to trigger, hard to block 1 adds 1 to that. So this will be you have to roll 4 or more to trigger. So to block this, if you wanted to use a block spell. So hard to block makes it obviously hard to block. It's 8 range, and we get to select 3 separate targets. Now he did the same spell to us.
Ah.
And again, we didn't block it because we didn't roll high enough. He had hard to block on that one. Now, let's move forward a bit. Let's move to here. Alright, now I'm going to use this spell to take this guy out. 6 damage. Add 3 to block rolls against this attack. So if they, whatever roll they do, you add +3. Yeah. Swarming attack. When this card does damage, increases damage by 1 for every ally within 2 squares. 5 damage, 1 range. 7 damage. That's a lot of damage. I think here we can actually take somebody out. Let's take this guy out. We're going to use a heal spell on ourselves. Heal 5 damage. And we'll pass the turn. Alright, now we have to discard down to 2 cards at the end of each turn. I'm going to discard the Chop and keep the Hardy Mail and the stronger Chop card. He died to fire damage, he took 2. Alright, now this turn we're going to use Force Bolt to do 1 damage to this guy. To start this off. Now slide back 1 moves the character back 1 space. So this is it's a movement spell as well as a damage spell. It's 4 range, 1 damage. But it's good to position people or get people out of position with spells like that. Real good. We can just take this guy out with this. Slide back 1. He's gonna move back 1 when we hit him with the strong bash. There we go. Now we could actually take him out now, actually. I knew we would take some damage. Let's just move up with our dwarf. Now we can take him out with a strong chop. Obliterating chop. Choose 2 different targets, 10 apiece. Victory. Alright, onward.
Victory!
The bones of Zuteenth. Return to dust, and the treasure is yours.
Yay!
Open the chest to claim your treasure. Now, this is why I told you guys, as soon as possible, the moment you're able to access these buttons during the first mission, I suggest you guys go into the options like so. Oh, you don't even have to go into the options, honestly. You can just click this button right here, and it'll bring it out of full screen mode. It's very important that you bring the game into windowed mode before you continue beyond this point, because if you don't, the game will freeze on you and you'll be locked out of the tutorial. You really don't deal with this problem again, but I don't know why you deal with this in the beginning. So it's very important to play this part of the tutorial in windowed mode. Then you can go back to full screen later on down the line. But for now, we're going to open the chest. Wow, a legendary drop. Drag and drop the gold leaf blade into the empty weapon slot on the character to the left. He has an empty slot over there. Let's drag and drop the weapon. The gold leaf blade is legendary. Legendary level 13. Now, this is the main reason why it's going to freeze, because if this game is in full screen mode, you're not going to be able to access this key, and you can't move this screen. So it's going to freeze and lock on you. So this is why I suggest window mode, because it gives you access to this button. This is a bug that's existed for a while, and they haven't fixed it yet, but everything else is pretty spot on after this. All right, by equipping the gold leaf blade, Bargo put some great new cards in his deck. As you can see, we get all of these cards added to our deck now, because cards are attached to whichever item you equipped. We're going to get into that later too. All right, let's move onward. This is our deck right here.
Whoa!
Oh no, as you lift your prize in celebration, a terrible rumbling shakes the temple. The stones themselves seem to cry out in terror as acoustic Greek fills the air.
Ambush!
Green Fang is here. All right, now it's time to fight Green Fang himself.
Uh-oh.
All right, beware Green Fang's acidic breath and use your new cards to avoid his armor cards. Now, this character is heavily armored, and he has acid attacks that create terrain zones that deal damage over time and all that cool stuff. But for now, we're gonna pass the turn and see what he does. All right, he flew over to us. Great. Let's move over 1. All right, each square can only have 1 terrain attachment at a time. See, he just played an acid spell and it changed the terrain. If we look at this terrain, it lets you know what it does. This is acid jet. It's magical acid damage. That's a specific elemental type. Damage type acid. It's a linear effect. Squares become acid terrain. Stop at the start of each round. Occupant discards all armor cards and takes 3 acid damage for 2 turns. Now this is powerful. It does 3 damage on impact, and it does 2. You take 3 acid damage at the start of each turn, and you discard all your armor. That's all of this reliable mail. We just gotta discard it. And as you know, armor cards, you get to keep these. So acid is very powerful. It like melts your armor off. Now the best thing to do is to move your character before the turn ends. Once they place down stuff like this, you do get abilities like Cleanse and Burst that allows you to discard all terrain attachments in target square and heal 2 to everybody in that area. And it has a AoE of 1. You can cancel that. But now what we're going to do, actually, we're going to charge forward. As you see, we move forward in a straight line. At the end of the move, there's a if there's a character in the square in front of us, we do 1 crushing melee damage to the character for each square we move. Now, this is 2 moves. I think we're going to do it, even though we're going to end up inside acid. We're going to do it anyway. Now, look, he has resistant hide. Now, this has immunity to fire damage, poison damage, electricity, and acid damage. And you keep this as an armor. You have to roll 4 more for this to trigger. He rolled a 1. It's not triggered, so you deal the 2 damage. Now, he does penetrating, massive jaws, 8 damage off the rip. A lot of damage. We're going to do perforating strike. It's penetrating, 5 damage. And you can read the flavor text. Kingdoms has fallen. There we go. Let's do the 5 damage. You're going to take a lot of damage. Dragon Claw, melee, slashing, damage type slashing. It's a green thing card. There we go. This has 2 range and 7 damage. Alright, we get the roll of armor. Now, this is reliable armor, meaning we don't have to do a damage roll or a damage check. It just always negates 2 armor. It's pretty similar to reliable hide. It's reliable mail, and we keep it. So it just negates 2 damage every single turn. Great. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cleanse this terrain, but not yet. First things first, let's do penetrating bolt. It has penetrating, goes right through armor. Yeah. Power spark. Hard to block too. Alright, he's immune to that damage, so it didn't really do anything. Now, we could teleport him out the way. But what I want to do first is let's cleanse this area and heal our guy. It's a 1x1 radius too. Ah, I knew he was gonna do that. That's why I was waiting to do the cleanse. Alright, now we can move. Oh man, he set us up. Alright, well, let's teleport other. Teleport him to right beside this guy. Great. He can run to also be over here. She can dash to be over here. And now we can heal up. There you go. Now we don't discard our armor. We can end the round now. Acid jet again. Yeah, he's definitely trying to get rid of our armor. And we don't have a lot of attack cards. Okay. We can make him discard all of his armor cards with this. So, alright. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is 8 plus 4. That's 12. We need attack cards. So, first things first. Let's start shifting people around and see what else he does. No. Let's play this. Let's see. Draw a card. Discard that card unless it is an attack card. Repeat until you have drawn 2 attack cards or drawn 6 cards. Let's draw our 2 attack cards. Great. Those are 2 very powerful attacks. That might be enough to finish him off. The way we're going to do this is we're going to start with boiling armor. Target character discards all armor cards. Now he's not going to have no armor. Now, even though we can't see these cards, we know they're not armor cards because he would have had to discard them. Now we can just go all out now. First things first, let's do strong attack. Melee slashing. Oh, wow, he's about to die. He might just die, but we need this 8 damage. Alright, that's great. Now we'll just use the 4 damage here. Or actually, let's cancel that and go penetrating, just in case. There we go. Took out green thing. Victory.
Victory!
With a terrible roar, Green Thing crashes into the temple floor. The Viridian Dragon's long reign of terror is ended.
Woohoo!
Woo, that was great. Gary, what are you doing? You kids can't play Green Thing's challenge with my party. This is basically his older brother, the guy who created this game.
Wrong.
If you want to play with my Card Hunter set, you have to start at level 1.
Oh.
Yes, Melvin. Sorry, Melvin. Alright, let's go. We can move onward. Alright, sorry about that, DB4Me. My brother says we have to start with some new characters. Alright, let's start from scratch.
And now.
Let's see. Our tale begins in Card Huntria, in the musty, dusty Orc's Head Tavern.
Hark.
An old man staggers through the door, blood streaming from his side.
Uh-oh.
Help! Monsters are attacking the village. Who will save us?
Huh.
Click a tab to choose a dwarf, human, or elf warrior, then recruit one. Now, this is how this game truly starts. That was like an opening spoiler section of like a tutorial, show you how movement and attacking works. Now, this is going to be the tutorial outright. These first few missions are going to serve as a great, more in-depth tutorial. So this is where I like to say the game starts officially. And as you see, you get to pick your level 1 character. You get a free recruit. You get to go a Dwarven Warrior. You can read that. Dwarven Warriors are stout, fierce, and capable of handling in a fight for a long time. However, they move more slowly than other races. At higher levels, they grant access to cards that improve their durability. So if you want to go with durability or tanks, a Dwarven Warrior is pretty good. Then we have the Human Warrior as well. Their balance, speed, and toughness, they can get into a fight and sustain it. At higher levels, they grant access to cards that let them plan ahead and strategize. That's very important because there's class-specific abilities and race-specific abilities. If you're a human, you're going to get a lot of strategic, more tactical cards. If you're a dwarf, you're going to get like a lot more unique armor cards and hide cards that's going to give you armor and protect you and stuff like that and just block damage outright. Elves are more mobile. Elven warriors are the most mobile of the warriors, but not as tough as the other races. At higher levels, they grant access to cards that give them even more movement options. So you'll get a lot of movement cards. You get cards that allow you to move 8 squares and do damage. A lot of great movement cards with the Dwarven warriors. Now, they do have some more health than, the elf warriors. They do have more health than, let's say, they have the least amount of health, but the most movement. So that's the benefit of using an elf. But we're going to go with a Dwarven Warrior to start this off. And I think we're going to go with some random names here. Let's go. Bezzycruff? Alright, they could do better than that. Lidgahal? Uff Diaz? Angdom? Alright, Angdom. I could go with Angdom. Alright, we're going to do a random character, Angdom. Alright, Angdom hears the call to adventure, strides over from the bar, and pledges to help the old man.
Yay!
It's time for your first adventure. Click exit to return to the map.
Ah!
Alright, with his last breath, the old man gasps and points towards the nearby village, Omelet. And here you go, the very first mission, Raid on Omelet. This is how the missions look. They look like little key points of interest you can click on the map. This map becomes fully accessible later on, but for now, this is just going to display the first mission. Alright, let's start the raid on Omelet.
Yeah!
Alright, these raiders should be pretty easy for someone who's already defeated Green Thing. And now this is genuinely how the game looks when you start it up. You get some information to the left about the mission you're doing. It looks just like some old school D&D stuff. And you get some character information here to the right. Let's read it. Kobolds are raiding the peaceful village of Omelet, slaughtering the villagers and plundering their meager possessions. Will a brave adventurer step up to send these vicious bandits packing? The peasants will surely reward anyone valiant enough to aid them stopping the raid on Omelet. It's a level 1 adventure, an exciting battle for one character. So you only need one character to do this, and it's a level 1 adventure. Let's begin.
Huh.
Now, this is the first page of the adventure. We basically opened up the book. Now, the village of Omelet's peaceful existence is torn asunder by the din of battle. a kobold raiding party had descended from the hills and set about ruthlessly sacking the small community. Drawing your sword, you rush to repel the invaders. I guess starting properly will at least give me a chance to explain a few more of the rules for you. Absolutely. Let's go.
Ah!
Alright, these kobold raiders are in a group that shares a single deck. As you can tell, each character has their own deck that they pull from. And as you can see, 16 health, and I draw 2 each turn. It's my turn. And I have 12 cards total in my deck. You get 4 cards. Well, you see how the deck... I'll show you how the decks work later. But for now, just know I have 12 cards in my deck. Not including... You get a movement card every turn. It doesn't really matter. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually pass the turn and see what these guys do. When a group plays a move card, they can all move at once. See, they played a run card and they both move three places. Now, they share a deck, so they're going to use their move cards at the same time, but attack cards get done individually. So let's move forward. Let's try to not get surrounded right now. Alright, weak strike. Monsters in a group turn gray after they have attacked and can't attack again until the next round. So during this round, this monster, he can't attack twice. See, he turned gray. I mean, he used up his attack. Now, only he can attack, but he's probably out of range right now. Alright, let's weak strike. Alright, he used the move spell. Let's bludgeon. Weak strike. Now let's hit him with a simple strike. Alright. Round over. He has no cards he passed. I can pass. End the turn. At the start of each round, you always draw 1 bonus move card. Now, this has nothing to do with the 2 cards you draw at random. You always start each round with 1 move card. So you might draw a move card and an extra draw card or extra battle card. It depends. But you're always going to start with 1 move card, each character. So to make sure you're never like locked in one space, you can always move every turn. Alright, because we chose dwarf, you just get slow walk cards as your default move. So our default move, because we're a dwarf, is walk. It only moves 2 spaces. Then you draw 2 more cards from your deck. There you go. And as you can see, we drew an extra move card and a bludgeon. These come from our actual deck. This move card is a card we just draw every single turn. And it's visible to the opponent. Like, we always see the move card that they drew. Like, we always going to know every turn he is going to get a run card. And same thing for us. He's always know, since we're a dwarf, we're always going to have a walk card. But we have an extra walk card because we drew it. But I can just bludgeon him and win. Now, in this game, damage types matter. The type of damage, the elemental type, all of that stuff ends up mattering in the future. But there we go. We completed the first adventure. Pretty cool. The village is saved, and the remaining kobold raiders scamper off into the fields. The grateful villagers reward you handsomely. The task now remains to track these miscreants back to their lair and put a stop to these attacks. Alright, let's collect our loot.
Yay!
Alright, we got XP for that. We got 10 experience for that first mission. Alright, Angdom found some loot. Open the treasure chest to claim your prize. Alright, wow, amber shards. They should be worth several gold pieces. Click take all and finish button to move on. Alright, let's click the take all and finish button. Head to the armory to exchange your loot for something useful. This game has excellent ambient sound, by the way. Just had to highlight that. We'll turn it up a little bit later on, but we're trying to get through the tutorial and learn some stuff now. Sell the amber shards you found by dragging them from your collection to the blue store sheet. Alright, I love the way this works. Now, let's see. You can physically move this entire screen around. Now, you can't really do this in the opening segment because they're trying to give you like a flash forward style, spoiler. You can't really do this, but you can do this every point after that. You can just move it around. And as you can see, look at our little clipboard with our D&D character sheet on it. I love the aesthetic of this game. Then you have our little store page with our little items page. It looks so authentic to D&D, but it also has that video game touch to it. So all right, let's sell our amber shards. This is a level 1 rare treasure. As you can see, we can sell it for 40 gold. All we have to do is drag it to this power sheet. There we go. The cards in your deck come from items you have equipped. I briefly explained that before.
Huh.
Because you don't have a weapon in this slot, your deck only has the weakest cards in it. There you go. This slot doesn't have a weapon. We're using our bare hands, so we're only going to get these cards. They pertain to that slot in our character sheet. So these cards are provided, and they're fairly weak. So even if you don't have a weapon or item in that slot, you still get the base cards for that slot. You just have to strengthen it with, strengthen the cards by getting better items. Pretty unique and dope mechanic. Now this mechanic is somewhat used nowadays in card games and other roguelikes and other things like that when they have RPG mechanics but card-based mechanics. But I would have to say this game was the first game I ever seen use card-based mechanics so cleverly. And a lot of people took from this and added to it and did their own spin on it. But I give this game credit for being the very first game I seen at least do something like this. Now this is still familiar to a lot of tabletop RPGs, but this is the very first video game I played that did things like this. Very true to a tabletop. Now let's continue. To fix this, buy a woodsman axe by dragging it from the store into the empty weapon slot. We got 40 gold for cashing those amber shards in. Now let's get this new axe. It's a level 1 common weapon.
Yeah.
Wowzers, equipping the axe, replace those weak cards with the powerful new cards.
Huh.
Continue. Mouse over the slots or items to see what cards they give you. And you can right click or press spacebar to see the cards close up. Now watch this. We can take off all of our weapons right now, right? We still have the same amount of cards in our deck, but all of the stuff is very weak. Got a few weak bludgeons, a few simple strikes, and a bunch of weak strikes. Now, as you can see, as we put stuff in like just 3 normal walk cards, but as you see, this gives us 1 walk card, a simple strike, and reliable hide that we always have on us. Very good. So let's equip the boots, and it replaces those barefoot, those 3 walk cards with 1 walk card, one defense card, and 1 attack card. And since we always draw a walk card every turn anyway, those other 2 walk cards are just redundant. So now let's replace them with better cards. And there you go. That's how the basic mechanics work when it comes to equipping your characters in this game. I think we just screwed up. Okay, yeah, no, we didn't screw up. I was sorting the weapons. I was wondering what happened to our weapons. When you click an item, it actually sorts your weapons. That's a dope feature there. I wasn't like that before. Now, as you can see, our bare fist gives us 2 bludgeons, not too bad, 4 damage, 2 simple strikes, and 2 weak strikes. This card gives us 2 bludgeons and 4 simple strikes. So it takes out the weak strikes as a whole. As you can see, it replaces 2 weak strikes with 2 simple strikes. 1 more damage. Very good. Now this thing does something similar. As you can see, it replaces 2 weak strikes with 2 simple strikes with weak chop, which is very good. It replaces the 2 bludgeons with 2 chop cards, which is extremely good. And you still get the 2 weak strikes on the back end. But this is a way better card setup. I just wanted to briefly explain to you how that works. That's real dope for me. Now we can exit.
Yay.
Alright, it's time to get back on the trail of those kobolds.
What?
Angdom searches the fields for tracks and finds a trail leading into the wilderness.
And now.
Let's get started on the next module, the kobold encampment. Alright, let's go. Oh man, going through the early parts of this game is bringing back so many dope memories, man. Alright, let's get started on the kobold encampment. Alright, following the trail of footsteps and drop plunder, you find the kobold raiders camped in the woods, a league from Omelet. Now is the time. While they're squabbling over their loot, to strike back. Destroy the kobold encampment and safeguard the village. Alright, let's begin the adventure. You pursue the kobolds into the treacherous hills surrounding Armlet. Before long, a musty stench alerts you to their presence. The remaining kobolds. It seems they are gathering their ill-gotten possessions and are making preparations to flee. It is up to you to stop them from warning the main camp.
Uh-oh.
Jeepers, this time you're outnumbered, 3-1. Not to worry, I have a few hints that will help you out.
Huh.
Alright, enemies have to halt when they move next to you. So move to the yellow square to stop them from surrounding you. Alright, let's move to the yellow square.
Oh.
Now, since this bush is in front of us, this is it. You can't pass through this terrain, so they weren't able to just surround us. They have to wait, and these guys can't just move straight past us. They have to use up move cards to get past us. So there we go. The shield carrying kobolds have block cards. Use your weakest attack cards first to draw them out. See, we can physically see they have block cards, so a lot of times paying attention to the models actually matter, because you can tell that it's a good chance he's going to have a shield card as he's actually physically carrying the shield. So what we're going to do to try to draw that card out is do a weak strike first and see if we trigger a block. As expected, we triggered a block. He blocks any with 4 damage or less if he rolls a 3 or more. He rolled a 3, he's going to block all the damage. Hits us back with a weak strike to retaliate. That's why it's always good to test these guys out. If you don't have any information about what cards they're holding, it's good to test out with weaker cards, because you don't want to use a powerful attack and he just blocks it all. That's a waste of damage. So for now, let's simple strike. Get this guy off our field. Take him out. And there we go. We can pass the turn now. We're going to draw 1 move card and 2 attack cards. Or 2 random cards. And there we go. We have another move option. Let's actually move here for now, to make our chop more valuable. And there you go. They fell for it. Now we can simple strike. Alright, when you see new cards, remember to right click on them and see what special abilities they have. We can end around here. Alright, easy work. Let's hit him with a chop. Over here. Adventure complete. Onward. Onward, men. Having dispatched the raiding party, you overturn their camp and liberate what items they had. Searching the area reveals a cave mouth and a crude earthen tunnel leading into the darkness under the hills. Is this where the kobolds have come from? Only further adventures will tell. Alright, let's collect our loot. We finally leveled up.
Woohoo!
Engdom. Oh, man. Engdom leveled up. It has more health, as well as a new slot, too. Engdom also unlocked the shield slot. Shields give you blocks and other defensive cards. Like expected. Whoa, a rare item, the kobold killer. That should come in handy. Alright, let's take all. If we look at this kobold killer, it's way better than this thing, because it gives us an overwhelming swing. It gives us 2 bludgeons, 2 simple strikes, and 1 weak strike. Now we do end up with a weak strike, but we get so much more damage with that overwhelming swing that it's worth it. And we get an extra bludgeon to make up for the weak strike. So that's worth taking. And we got a bunch of treasures here. And we have an empty shield slot now. Without a shield deal, we just get our bare arms, and it gives us 3 unreliable blocks. These are terrible cards. As you can see, we have to roll a 6 or more. We have to roll the perfect roll just to trigger these. So these are very unreliable, and your bare arms is not going to block much unless you get a perfect roll. Now, we could dual wield axes here and end up with a lot of chopping. That is a viable strategy, but for now, we're going to finish. You know, you really should head to the armory and get yourself a shield. I heard there are new heroes waiting at the tavern, too. All right, let's head to the armory. Let's sell this stuff. We got some more rare treasure. Now we can actually buy this. Now it's going to replace those unreliable blocks with a weak block and 2 flimsy blocks. Way better, but still not that good. It only blocks damage with 4 or less, so anything higher it won't even trigger the weak block, and you have to roll a 3 or more. Way more reasonable though. This blocks any damage with 2 or less, so basically a very flimsy block. It's a weak, but it has to be damaged 2 or less or it's not going to trigger. And there you go. And it doesn't even replace itself, so it just discards once you use it. It's pretty good. It saves you sometimes, but it's not amazing. It's way better than your bare hands though. There we go. 72 gold. We're back in business.
Ah.
I hope there are new heroes waiting at the tavern. Let's head to the Orchid's Tavern.
Yay.
Alright, now we get to pick the wizard's class. Recruit one of these crafty wizards for your party. We have the human wizard. We have the elf wizard. And the dwarf wizard. Now, let's look at their abilities. Human wizards manipulate and damage from afar. They have a good balance of mobility and toughness, just like the other human class, but at higher levels, they get access to the human tactical planning skill. So once again, the human takes advantage of tactical and more strategy elements, and the other classes are going to do something a little bit different. Elven wizards are renowned for their ability to annoy by casting spells from afar, just like other wizards, but their natural mobility lets them dance out of danger more often than not. At higher levels, their elven skill insinuate this mobility even further. Okay, so they're gonna get a lot of movement abilities as an elf, like teleport, like relocation spells and stuff like that. And you also get an alternate art for picking an elf. Oh, that is pretty dope. It was like that before too. You get an alternate art if you picked, I think, the human. Now the dwarven wizards usually come out the best in a ranged fight due to their high health. So if you're 1-1 with a dwarf wizard, he has 12 health. That's pretty beefy. However, they may have trouble staying out of melee range due to their slow movement. At higher levels, they can resist magic and struggle with damage. So the dwarven wizard usually gets a lot of resistance spells and a lot of AoE spells to complement the ability they can't move out the way fast enough. And they also have some melee spells mixed in there too. So you can build these characters to be quite tanky and also be up close with the rest of your party too. They don't have to be as long range. I'm almost tempted to do the alternate class with the free art, but I'll save that for like a brand new class. We'll go with the original art for now, and we're going to go with a human wizard to start this off. Ginbanuk, Tim Grim Rob. We gotta go with Tim Grim Rob. Oh no, we can't. Oh no, Tim Grim Rob. I think we're gonna type that in. I like that name. We're going with Tim Grim Rob, just because it was an amazing random name. All right, Tim Grim Rob, we have to do that one.
Yeah.
Tim Grim Rob joins your party. I'm going to create custom names next time we do. We're going to get some more characters in a brand new party, but that's for later. Tim Grim Rob joins your party. Let's go, Rob. Wizards are long-range attackers and can develop powerful magic, but they are fragile fighters.
Adventurers.
Let's pursue the kobolds. Return to the map and follow the tunnel into darkness if you dare. Alright, we got our second character. Now we can leave. But this character starts at level 1 as well, so yeah. And we don't have any abilities or anything with him. This guy just comes straight up with his base stuff. Alright. Alright, now we're ready to go head first into the tunnels of darkness.
Yeah.
Melvin was right. It is cool building your own party this way, don't you think? Yeah, it's pretty dope starting from scratch. In the hillside, a cruel tunnel leads into darkness. From this ominous portal, the kobolds sailed forth to terrorize the farmers. Now you must turn the tables and bring fire and sword to these raiders themselves. As you venture down into the tunnels of darkness, we can begin the adventure. It's for levels 1 to 2 adventurers, an exciting introductory battle.
Ambush!
Alright, you light your torch and head into the... Alright. Oh, looks like the kobolds are ready for you. Ambush! Alright, you light your torch and head into the kobolds tunnel. The passageway leads down, then runs straight for many miles. Before reaching a 3-way intersection, while you ponder which way to go, a crude horn sound and a mighty kobold hero emerges to confront you. Ho, looks like the kobolds are ready for you. Ambush! Brrr. Like some loud horn goes off in the distance. Let's go, battle!
Uh-oh.
Your wizard has long-range attacks but needs line of sight to the target. Don't worry, I'll explain. Line of sight means that you have to have an unblocked line of sight from the center of your square to the targets.
Huh.
So you got to go from the center of my square to the center of his square. You can't really go around and over. You can't really move like that. You go straight from the center and draw a line to the center. If there's no blocks in between, then it's good. Your wizard has sight from here to there, as the line doesn't cross any blocking squares.
Oh.
Now, as you can see, if he was just one square over, but not from here, there's one blocking square crossed by the line. As you can see, from this center to this center, we technically go on this square, so we can't use that. That's out of line of sight. The wall blocks us by a small amount, but it still blocks us. If it was here, it would block us by a lot more, and it would be pretty much obvious. But this does just let you know, if it's a smidget of your line on another square, it's typically going to be out of line of sight. But you get a good idea of line of sight by just hovering over cards. So to start this off, what we're going to do is we're going to move forward. Alright, this kobold heroes has a lot of blocks. It can't block if you attack it from behind, though. These squares are in front of the flashing kobold. These squares are behind it.
Yeah!
If you get one hero on either side of the kobold, you can keep attacking from behind. Now, this is a very useful strategy. Now, he just let us know, but sometimes you won't really know this. And instead of wasting cards to test to see if somebody has a block spell, what you can alternatively do is attack from different angles, like from their flank or their blind side. Attacks from the blind side cannot be guarded against. You can't block attacks from your blind side like they just explained. So since he's facing the dwarf, we're going to attack with our wizard and kind of attack that way. See, can't block. Yeah. Even though this is hard to block. Subtract 2 when rolling to this block card. He turned back around to our guy. We're going to zap him again. There's no valid targets, meaning 1, 2, he's out of range. So what we need to do is cancel that and move up some. We're going to move to here. He passed the turn. Now we're going to turn him towards us with the zap spell. Now since he's not facing him, he can easily get a bludgeon off. He turned that way. Now he can't block this. Now we don't have to worry about none of his block cards. We avoiding all of that. Can't block. Now let's let you know how important positioning is. Very important. That was alright, I guess. I doubt you'll get much further though. This game isn't some dumbed down for the masses. I love this guy, Melvin. Alright, the tunnel finally emerges high above the floor of White Skull Canyon. So this is where the kobold lair is. You will return with allies to finally stomp out these monsters and liberate the treasure they have stolen from the surrounding villages. Alright, we found out where the kobolds are hiding. Now let's collect our loot. Alright, we got another new item. The Golem Cleaver. a level 2 rare weapon, and we also have an item to give our wizard. We can give him an arcane item. First of all, let's take all, and let's move our board over a bit, and let's give him this arcane item. As you can see, it has telekinesis, big zap, and little zap. And this is a level 1 uncommon item. You can sell items just like treasure, by the way, but we're not gonna sell anything right now. Let's go to our other dude, Engdom. Let's go, Engdom. Let's go, Eng. And we're gonna give him, instead of this axe, level 2 rare, level 1 rare. Instead of the Cobalt Killer, we're gonna give this guy this. He get a lot of penetrating abilities. And he gets stab, which gives him a little bit of range. That's pretty good. See, he gets a little bit of range, so he's not just stuck if he's not 1 square away. And he gets a huge bludgeon, a able bludgeon, and he gets penetrating cuts. These are way better than the weak chops and also the simple strikes because they get through armor. So let's finish up there. Alright, don't forget to check the armory for new stuff before we wrap up this module. And there you go. The next thing we got to do is go to the armory. If you're searching for a particular type of item, just click that slot on your character sheet. We can get brand new boots for everybody if we want it. We can get brand new weapons or brand new shields. For the purposes of just experimenting, we're just going to buy a brand new wand because we have a level 1 staff here. Let's just try to buy a more powerful staff, and then we're going to move on. This staff is very interesting. I like this staff too. Hold on. Oh, we're buying this one. I like this staff. This is a very strong staff. This is a level 6 common staff, and we can actually equip this. It doesn't have a level requirement. This is a very, very, very strong staff. As you can see, look, it has 2 sorcery bolts to it, right? It also has this spark that's very long range, hard to block 1, but it has these bashes for close range, like, and it slide back, get people off you. Very strong. Very strong. There's also this one. Look at this, level 4. Common staff. Look at this. Oh, wow. When this card does damage, increase its damage by 4 for the affected character has a form card attached to it. Oh, wow. This is amazing. This is like for a battle mage or something like that. See, he get a lot of simple bashes, fleeting touch, and a spray. See, you can completely create your own builds, and this is a very unique card. Oh, wow. This is powerful. I might buy this outright. We'll wait to get into all that good stuff. We purchased one item. Let's leave now. All right, let's go to the White Skull Canyon. All right, after battling under the ground itself, you have emerged into the desolate White Skull Canyon. It is here that the kobolds have gathered under the leadership of their sinister high priest. Put them to the sword and end their depredations for once and for all. Okay, let's begin the adventure. This is 2 exciting battles back to back for levels 1 to 2. Let's go. Begin. Returning to White Skull Canyon, you follow the winding dry. Hold on, wait. Return to the map real quick. Let's see something. Oh, we can't go to the tavern, can we? Okay, there's nobody here. Okay, let's go back. Okay, great. Okay, returning to the White Skull Canyon, you follow the winding dry riverbed until you come to a high wooden wall. Suddenly, the gates are thrown open. Kobold warriors rush forward, edged on by their priest. Igabig. Okay, Igabig. Alright, let's destroy Ig Abig. Let's pass and see what they do. Okay, let's move up a little bit. Alright, we can double penetrate and cut this guy. And you can't block penetrating. Oh, he can. Yo, you can block penetrating, but you can't armor. It goes straight through armor. Yeah, let's be a little bit specific there. All right, we wasted all of his chop. All right, we're gonna take this guy out.
Yeah.
Cards with duration attached to their target. Cards with duration attached to their target and hang around for that many rounds. At the start of each round, the attached card might do something. In this case, it's healing. Oh, he played a healing blessing. This is a blessing card. It's like an enchantment. At the start of each turn, he heals 3 and it has a duration of 3 for 3 turns. 6 range. So this is a heal spell. We want to kill this guy now instead of letting him heal 3. So let's just do that. And to be honest, I'm gonna teleport this guy all the way over here to close some ground, and we're gonna take this trip up there in the round. We drew a run spell, perfect. And we also have bash. This is why I chose that weapon. As you can see, we can bash this guy pretty good. Let's corner this dude while we have the chance. Yep, we're gonna corner him and take him out. No problem. Great, he came to us. Let's bash.
Yeah.
Weak chop. Take him and him out. And now we can just weak strike for the win. Victory! Victorious, you search the bodies while your back's... Oh, okay. While your back is turned, Igga Bigga's Fiend Death enchantment dissipates and the shifty little kobold priest slips away deep into their lair. After him! Let's collect our loot. Before we go run after him, let's collect our loot. Ah, we got a new shield. Level 2. 2 unreliable blocks and a weak block. That's not better than this. In a same blunt sword. Alright, take all. Continue. We can sell that. That stuff is pretty trash. We can just sell it. Pursuing the kobold priest, you corner him in his stinking hut. Now it's time for the final showdown with these murderous bandits. Alright, the final showdown with the kobolds. Let's get it. As you can see, these battles played out one after another because they are 2 battles. It lets you know right there.
Uh-oh.
Alright, this map has difficult terrain in it. You must stop moving when you enter difficult terrain.
Huh.
Continue. Difficult terrain doesn't block line of sight like block terrain does. You have an easier time if you kill the shaman before the minions can get past the difficult terrain. Now, this is very interesting because these people are all trapped behind all of this difficult terrain. No matter how many tiles it says you can only move 1 space at a time on difficult terrain. So these guys are going to take some time to get around this stuff no matter which way they go. And as you can see, this guy is trapped in a little small room here with line of sight blocked on either side. He can only see directly out this door. Like, he can't see anywhere else. He can't see there. He can't see there. He can only see directly out the door. We're going to use that to our advantage here. First things first, we're going to put our wizard up here. Kind of like a trap. And we're going to put our wizard in the same room with the guy now. We're going to have our wizard just take him out.
What?
There we go. Alright, Unholy Frenzy causes 1 damage to its target, but then it boosts their damage every single attack. Stay away from frenzied creatures until they frenzied wear off. Now that's what we were supposed to do, but this guy killed himself with that one damage. So let's go to the battle log real quick and look at Unholy Frenzy. It has Frenzy 2. That means it adds 2 to all melee attacks. And or add +1 to any magic or projectile attack for 2 turns. And that's for all the attack cards you play. So that means all of these cards that are melee will be +1 or +2, and all of my ranged attack cards will be +1. So if you want a Frenzy and you have a bunch of attack cards on you, that's a great thing to do. It lasts 2 whole turns. And it deals 1 damage to you with a range of 6. So it's a real good card. It doesn't look like it because it deals damage to the person you're giving it to, but it's worth it because that increased damage over time adds up a lot. Let's just look at real quick. I'm going to look at the dwarf real quick. If we frenzied him, instead of him having 5 damage, 3 damage, and 2 damage, that automatically goes up to a 7 damage card, a 5 damage card, and another 4 damage card. That's a lot of damage. That's an extra 6 damage in hand. And that happens again next turn if I draw a bunch more cards. So, real powerful. Now we're going to walk up with our dwarf. Just try to get closer to this guy. And we'll end the round. Discarding the weak strike. Alright, he's going to move out. They're going to move around this way. Perfect. This is going to give us time to get out of this room. And kind of align ourselves like here, because he's probably going to step forward to fight. But we're going to put ourselves here because we're still in range to attack him from 2 spaces away. And we still have enough room to get our guy in and get 1 space away. Perfect. Chop. Done. Spark. Death. Perfect. End the round. And we'll get rid of weak chop. Alright, they're going to move toward us. Pretty good. We're just going to hit him. Well, no. We're going to hit him with the big zap first. Now we can hit him with this. Hard to block. Okay. Pretty good. Now we'll just move forward now. Oh, we missed our block, but he got his. If you don't initiate the block, you can still keep the card. Okay, well, I kind of want to try to take the other guy out, but let's take him out first. What does he have? 2 health. All right, we're going to weak chop him. Oh, he blocked it. Ugh, nasty. Stab. Don't block. Great. Now we can possibly move past this guy. Alright, now we can use our sorcery bolt. No, he's out of range. Alright, cool. Let's see, look. If we go from here to the middle of there, we're getting blocked by this, so he's out of our line of sight. Alright, now he's very much so in range. Let's just go for the heavy attack. Pushed him back. Now he can't attack, and we can just hit him with this. Adventure complete. Searching through the muck and bodies, you recover what treasure you can. The kobolds are overthrown and put to flight. The villagers can rest well tonight. You are now a fully fledged adventurer. Collect our loot. Tim Grim Rob got leveled up, get an extra arcane item. Pretty dope. So he's now level 22. I mean level 2, just like Engdom. But Engdom's about to be level 3 soon. Open chest.
Whoa!
Whoa, look at that. Wow, the shaman had some nice loot. We got another rare treasure. Another rare treasure. Ah, these are some good common boots. They don't come with any hide or anything like that, but they do come with a run, a walk, and a scuffle. Oh, look at this. A divine item, a rare divine item. Looks pretty dope. Take all and finish. Alright, you've seen how useful priests can be. Head to the tavern, and I'll let you recruit one for yourself. Alright, for this one, I think we're going to go with the... Oh, the Dwarven Priest gets you the alternate art. I'm gonna create a party with all the alternate art. I think we're gonna go with an elf priest for this one. We went human mage, let's do elf priest, but let's read them real quick. Human priests are healers and fighters who can fight in close and aid their friends. Who can fight in close, aid their friends, and curse their enemies. At higher levels, they grant access to skill cards that let them manipulate their card draws. Oh, so humans draw extra cards. The human priest. Let's see what the elf priest does. Elven priests are highly mobile support characters who can both heal and curse from a distance. Though they have decent melee weapons, they can't hang in a fight for too long. At higher levels, they can gain more powerful elf movement. So they're going to give more powerful movement abilities, but they do also have some good heal spells that's specific to the elf. Now the dwarven priests. Dwarven priests are resilient support characters. With their natural dwarven toughness with 14 health, that's pretty impressive. Pretty close to a dwarven warrior at level 2, mind you. So a dwarven priest is pretty damn close to a dwarven warrior at level 2. Only 3 health points apart. That's huge. They can hang in a fight, but they may have trouble getting into range. At higher levels, their dwarven skill make them even harder to hurt. So if you give this, add to the fact that dwarves end up with a lot of resilient cards and extra armor cards to begin with, these become a very reliable priest and a very good priest class, because you don't have to move as much as a priest, because all your heal spells have the range you need them to have. And most of your offensive spells will just be close combat, and that'll help you stay alive as well. But since she's mainly a support class, she's going to use a lot of her turns for healing. So your offensive cards aren't going to be that effective. Not as much as the heal spells, you know, with the AoE healing and the healing over time. You're going to want to do that more times than kill something. Or sometimes just killing something is the best heal spell. You know, that takes damage off the board as well. But that being said, I think we're going to go with an elf priest to round out our party. We have a dwarf, we have our human, and now we're going to go with our elf. RMA, A fine, I fine, Ronam. All right, Ronam is pretty normal. Let's keep that, Ronan.
Yeah!
All right, Ronam. Ronam will fight by your side.
Yay!
Your party is now full. You can recruit new characters if you like, but you'll have to swap them for old ones. Now, basically, these parties are a maximum of 3 per. You can only have 3 in your party at once. If you want to put somebody else in, you have to swap them out, and that's very good because you can switch it up. You can just do an all-human party, all elf party, all dwarf party, or you can mix and match any way you want. It's really dope that way. You can do challenge runs where it's like a whole all dwarves. You can do something that's like all elves or all humans, or you can say, you know what, I want to do all priest, all dwarven priest, or just all priest, period. No warriors, no mages. You can literally do that. You can do any combination you can think of. There's no class restrictions or race restrictions as far as the missions go. So that's real dope like that. So we might do challenge runs in the future, but for now, we're just going to display the base and how you're supposed to just use the variety here. All right, now there you go. I would love to do something like that, like an all mage run, all dwarven mages. They're like, they're like battle mages, but they also have a lot of magic. I would do that.
Woohoo!
All right, the keep on the hinterlands is your new home. Check it out.
Huh.
All right, you can check out your collection here.
Whoa!
Hey, D Before Me Gaming. Now that the Celestial Forge is here, you can craft new, better items from the items you already have. There's also an option to see owned and unowned items, item collection. Let's check it out. All right, new recipes. Whoa. Items you don't own are behind glass. You can get them in chests or find chests and from crafting. Let's craft something powerful. Okay. The items you can craft have a red craft button. The ones you can't because of missing parts are yellow. Click and try. Oh, so the ones we can craft have the red one. So let's craft these. What are these? For each card required by item, you must sacrifice an item from your inventory that contains the card. Oh, so for each card needed, you sacrifice an entire item? To craft a new item, you need to use 3 or 6 items, depending on the number of cards the item has. Oh, okay. Click on filters to show only items that contain the required cards. Okay.
Adventurers.
Now things are getting exciting. There are new adventures to tackle. Continue. In the daily deals stocks exotic and hard to obtain items. The daily deals is that shop we went to, is the new shop that just opened. Now I had to get out of that last screen because something is wrong with the Celestial Forge update. And every single time I go to try to craft something, the game was crashing on me. So I just backed out of the screen, reloaded the game, and now this is the next screen we would have gotten after they did the crafting tutorial for us. I'll go over crafting a bit in a minute, but this is the original game. This is technically the start of the game after the tutorial. So after you do this little section here, you'll have all 3 characters. You'll have your keep unlocked, where you could go in and out your keep and do whatever you want. You know, you can sit here and you can actually start crafting from here. But the weird thing is, we didn't end up with that very powerful item. It doesn't matter, neither here nor there. But we would have gotten a real powerful rare item if we would have completed that part of the tutorial. But it did freeze on me and crash, so I had to reload the game. So we're going to end up without that powerful item to start with. But I'm all good. It's all good. I have a ton of items we can probably craft or make later on. Now, let's head to the daily deals real quick. As you can see, these are all the exclusive items. Real powerful items, real expensive items. We can't afford any of them just yet. Let's not speak too soon, because we do have some stuff we can sell. Let's sell this for 40 gold. We just got a drag and drop. Sell this for 40 gold. And now we have 147 gold. Pretty dope. We're going to save all this other stuff because we might be able to use it for crafting materials later. So you don't always want to sell your weapons ever since this new crafting update came out. Now, let's try to get a divine weapon if we could. No divine weapons here, huh? Alright, they got arcane items. What about boots? What kind of boots we're working with? Now, these items are way too high level for us. We can't use these items just yet. We could possibly use this. A light spear. But for 100 gold, it's not worth it. Not right now, at least. So if you want to spend the excess gold, you can come here, and for 100 gold, you can get a very, very good, very rare item. As you can see, they even selling this, the excellent wand in here, for 100. Yeah, this is actually good too. This is real good. But we're not going to spend 100 gold right now. We're going to go with the base items. You know what, actually, since we need an arcane item, double wand is real good because telekinesis becomes extremely powerful in the future. Extremely powerful. But looking at this, what is this? What card is this? When targeted by an enemy attack from the front, move 2, teleport, and keep. Oh, wow. So we get terrain. We get a terrain effect, a teleport, a defensive skill, and an offensive skill. I think we're going to buy that. I never really played with this, so we are going to buy something very expensive. We're going to buy the Stone Shard, level 8 rare arcane item. That's going to replace the item we weren't able to craft during the crafting tutorial. And there we go. All right, now we can head to the armory and see what else they have for sale too. The daily deal is going to give us rare items that are very, very rare and items we can't really get anywhere else. So it's good to purchase them. Now this guy, since he needs an arcane weapon, a divine weapon, let's purchase him one. We have a nice choice here. We can go with this one for 5, which is real good. I like this. Or we can go with this one for 25. Level 5 uncommon divine weapon. Level 5 common divine weapon. Now this one is very interesting. Let's read what it does. When this card does damage, increases damage for 2 for each card attached to target. That you have any lingering effects on the target, like burn spells or poison or anything, it does +2 for each of those cards. So, Inquisitor Strike, amazing. This is some ranged, pretty good for. This is Drain and Touch. You heal 1 for each damage done. So this is do 3 damage, heal 3. This is make somebody fragile. This basically like Frenzy, but it's a debuff on the opponent. You can make anybody take +2 damage per attack from anybody. This is very powerful. Then we got this. Target draws a card. You take 4 unpreventable unholy damage. Now, demonic feedback. We take damage, but somebody else gets to draw a card. That's pretty good because we can probably heal ourselves. Now we got misguided heal. It heals 4, but it applies after damage. So this is basically heal 2. When it's all said and done, this is effectively heal 2, but you have to have 2 health to spare. You know, because it's going to heal 4 and take 2 off the rip. But this is also acts as like a damage spell. So even if an enemy has 2 health left, you can just use this and kill them, and it won't heal them. Or if you have 4 health left, you can use this, go down to 2 health, and then you'll be up to 6. So it just heals 2. So it's either a 2-point heal or a 2-point damage spell, essentially. You can actually make this even better, a better damage spell, if you already got yourself frenzied. This goes up to a 4 damage spell. So if you frenzied yourself and does this to an enemy, it'll do 4 damage before the heal triggers, and that's a very this turns this heal spell, or you know, a heal spell you can use multiple ways, into a very powerful, versatile damage spell. I like that a lot. So we're gonna purchase this for our first weapon. Now we almost broke. Let's go into divine items though before we continue. Now, I'll show this too. This is a trait card attached to us, duration 3. When you take silver damage, add 3 to that damage, and we keep this. Silver damage is from weapon types and stuff like that, but we probably won't have to worry about that too much, but it'll probably be a burden later, so we're not going to do it. But this does give you 2 powerful heals for reference. Righteous Frenzy. Frenzy 2, duration 1. Now, this is a frenzy that doesn't damage you. So this is real good. It's righteous. Another, like Draining Touch. So you get 2 good frenzies in Draining Touch, but the duration is only 1. The duration isn't 2, like the Unrighteous Frenzy, Unholy Frenzy. So we can go through all of these if we want, but I think we should just pick one for now and move on. We're gonna go with probably something like this is already pretty good. As you can see, it gives you a bunch of minor heals. Heal 2, heal 2, heal 2. That's pretty good. Draining Touch Frenzy. That gives you a lot of self heals. 3 frenzies. This is just a straight frenzy one. I like to get something like this is pretty good too. This makes all attacks done to 1 target penetrating. Sure Strike Blessing, pretty dope. It makes attack unblockable and penetrating. I mean, there's no way they can guard against this. This is powerful for mages and just to make sure you get the hit off without them being able to do something weird. But I don't think it's better than the other charm. You also get a misguided heal and a minor heal. Misguided heal is better than minor heal because it goes further. And it's essentially the same thing, but it's more versatile. So this is possibly better than this. But that's my own opinion. But yeah, there we have it, the first part of the game. Right there. Now after this, it's no longer tutorial, but we will still get some tips that's going to pop up from here to there. And new missions pop up as we complete more parts of the storyline. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. We're going to continue in the next video. I appreciate you all for joining us today. Now, as always, if you're interested in playing this game, you can just check the description box below. We're going to have some information down there, as well as the links to our social media and stuff like that. You can also leave us a comment. You can also subscribe to the channel if you would like. We got some more Card Hunter content coming up in the future, as well as similar games. I appreciate you all for being here. I want to salute to my subscribers once again. With that being said, it's your boy DB4, and I'm out. Peace.